we are on to step 11, and this can be a little tricky, so I want to try and show it as clearly as possible, but we are going to stitch the shoulder straps. So what you want to do is take your bra and lay it with right sides up. Then we are going to turn the cup and strap pieces over so that those are facing in toward the Racerback. And this is for the Racerback version only, by the way. Okay, now I have the right side of the strap facing down toward the right side of the Racerback. Take those straps and pin them right sides together, just at this small edge. Now the tricky part comes when we want to pin the lining in there. So what I've done is I have given a little visual aid. These little pieces of tape indicate that this is the right side of the lining. It's currently facing down. What we need to do is bring that right side of the lining up and over so that it is facing this foam part of the strap. So what I'm going to do is take this and pull it apart a little bit, and I'm going to twist it in toward the strap. Okay, there, now you see the right side is facing up, so I need to twist it again so that the right side is facing in toward the foam strap. Then I will add that to the pin. Okay, for the other side we're going to do the exact same thing. So I have these two pinned already, and I'm going to pull the strap out just a little bit, and I'm going to twist it in. There we see the right side. Twist it again so that it is facing the foam part of the strap. All right, and pin that. That is how you pin the straps. We're going to go stitch right along here, and that'll do it. Okay, now we're going to baste the shoulder straps. I am using a straight stitch and increasing my stitch length all the way up as high as it will go. And I'm going to start by basting at the 3/8 inch seam allowance. And after basting it, now is the time to try it on. And you can decide if you need to take off any length from those straps. I always do. That's a part of my body that I'm short on, so I anticipate I'll have to take off some more length. All right, so then we just turn the straps right side out, and you can see right side of the Racerback to the right side of the front straps. And then we have the right side of the Racerback lining, and I still have my little tape markers on there, to the right side of the foam. Before we move on to the fold over elastic, I want to show you the strap that was shortened. So here's the new basting line where I shortened it. What you need to do is now do a regular stitch over that basting line, which I will do right now with a straight stitch and regular stitch length. Now, you'll see me pulling these tail threads to make sure no fabric goes down into the feed dogs. Reverse stitch at the beginning and end. Okay. Now I have a regular stitch, and what I'll do is just trim away the excess strap, because we don't need that much extra strap inside of our bra. Now we can fold everything right sides out, and I've already done the other strap. So for applying fold over elastic, there are so many different ways to do it. To be perfectly honest, I have never decided my favorite way of doing fold over elastic. I tend to just use whatever method is in the pattern that I happen to be making. Before I start applying, I'm just going to go around the whole bra and make sure everything is nice and trimmed. There's no excess fabric or dog ears sticking out anywhere. Since I shortened the straps, one side might be a little fatter than the other. So I'll just make sure all the transitions are smooth. Here's some dog ears sticking out. Okay, that looks good. All right, I think we're ready. So I'm going to have the lining side of the bra facing down with the fold over elastic underneath it. That way, as I'm stitching, I can see the fold line on the elastic, and I can see that my bra is very close to that fold line. Okay, I'm using a zigzag stitch at width of 5 millimeters, and I increased my stitch length just a little bit to 3, since I'm going to do another stitch on the other side of the fold over elastic. This isn't going to be my only stitch. So as I'm going, I just want to make sure that the edge of the bra is very close to that fold line on the elastic. Now, I want to stretch the elastic just slightly, not a ton. It's not like I'm attaching a band. And go as slow as you need to on this. Of the yoke, I'm going to stretch my fold over elastic a little bit more. Because it's on that curve, I need to stretch the elastic so that the elastic doesn't gape when I wear it. So just remember to pull it a little bit more as you are applying it to this yoke. Tighter when I go around these curves here. Now we will go over that stitch again, this time stitching along the outside of the bra while folding the elastic over the bra. Alright, so round 2. So I'm going to fold it over, and this time I'm going to be more careful to make sure that I'm stitching really close to the edge of the elastic there. You want to go slowly. In fact, I'm going to reduce my speed and go very slowly and get my stitch right up against the edge there. If I don't get close and say my stitch comes as far as my thumb here, when I'm wearing it, this elastic is going to pull open like that, and it won't look nearly as neat as if you get your stitches all the way up to the edge. So that's something to be careful of. Go slowly, take your time. where the needle will fall, so I can just follow that notch, line up the elastic with that notch as it goes through the foot, which is convenient. Awesome. Isn't that so pretty? Now to attach the fold over elastic to the arm opening, I like to start right under the arm. And for me, that's just on the foam cup, or that's on the cup side of this cup to band seam. So we're going to do just like we did for the front part of the fold over elastic, and we're going to start by applying the FOE to the inside of the bra by placing the bra right side up and the fold over elastic with the wrong side up, so the part that's going to show is facing down. I'm using zigzag stitch again with stitch length number 3. You may have noticed when I attached the front part of my fold over elastic that I didn't switch my stitch length. And I meant to, but I think it still looks okay at stitch length 3, so I'm just going to leave it how it is. And it's stitched twice, so I think it's still strong enough. I didn't bring it all the way up to 5 or anything like that. When I do the right side of this fold over elastic, I will switch. We'll go ahead and switch it to 2.5. And again, make sure you're pulling a little bit. Just a little though. You can see how much I'm pulling. My fingers are acting as pins holding down the fabric as I go. And I'm just being real careful to line up the center line with the edge of my fabric. I'm not being real careful with where my stitch is hitting on the elastic. I know I'm on the elastic, but I'm not too worried about hitting precisely on the edge like I will when I fold it over and do the second stitch. Start to get toward the end, I'm going to trim the elastic, and I'm going to give myself about an extra ½ inch of elastic. Okay, so the piece that I cut is longer than the opening, and I'm going to stitch just up to where I started, almost up to where I started, maybe like 1 stitch away from where I started. Now we're going to fold over to finish the top, and this part that I left hanging over, I'm going to fold it in to create a finished edge. Then I'll fold it over, and I'm going to fiddle with it just a little bit to make sure the folded in part isn't sticking out. And just try and get it as neat on the outside as possible. But this is also why I'm doing this part under the arm. Okay, I'm decreasing my stitch length to 2.5, and I will start going back over the fold over elastic, being careful to line up the edge of my needle with the edge of my elastic. finished edge. Nice and stretchy but supportive. And here's how it looks on the inside.